Hey everybody, Scott Hathaway here from Echo Base. Live via satellite, we have Neil Gargiulo, Sean Cowhig, and David Park, who star in the new Shout Factory indie horror comedy Bloodsucking Bastards, which is in select theaters and on demand September 4th. When these guys aren't cracking people up with their long-form improv, Dr. God, they're doing a ton of other work. Neil, who plays Mike in Bloodsucking Bastards, is a co-founder of Dr. God and plays the principal in the MTV hit Awkward, which is going on its 5th season. He also executive produces and is a panel participant on the AXS TV show Mockpocalypse, which returns August 27th. Sean plays the janitor in Bloodsucking Bastards and is also a co-founding member of Dr. God. He also tours the country doing live shows and accompanies Neil on Mockpocalypse. And last but not least, we have David Park, who is a Second City and Upright Citizens Brigade vet and plays David in Bloodsucking Bastards. When he's not playing in Dr. God, you could see him pop up on such channels as Comedy Central, IFC, and AMC, and also sits next to Neil on Mockpocalypse. Gentlemen, thanks for taking time today to sit and talk about Bloodsucking Bastards, and congrats on the recent success.
Thank you. And Scotty, we want to say thank you for memorizing all of the bios.
Yeah.
It was just the fact that it came
Right.
off the top of your head like that. We appreciate that.
Mhm.
Thank you so much.
No problem. I can tell you, as soon as I woke up this morning, it was just sitting over my bed. It was over the toilet in the shower.
Oh, sure.
Oh, yeah.
That's how you memorize things.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
In very desperate moments.
Oh, sure.
That's how you memorize things.
Exactly. So, guys, this is pretty exciting stuff. Rotten Tomatoes has Bloodsucking Bastards at 49 user reviews, with 100% liking it. Did you
Okay,
expect
good.
that?
I thought you ended. I was going to say that was
49%.
I was like, that's not exciting.
That's horrible. Last night it was 100%.
Yeah.
No, 49 users with 100% liking it.
That's great. Yeah. That's great. We're excited.
Did you expect that? Did you expect 100%, or did you think, some people like it? Comedy is pretty subjective subject, so some people could like the comedy, some people don't, but people seem to love it everywhere.
It seems to be getting great reviews everywhere we've taken it and everywhere that it's been screened, and that's really exciting. Very curious to see, how the general public receives it, but that's now we're 2 weeks away. There's not really much more we can do other than sit back and wait. I mean, we're really excited.
Yeah. We played it, at different places around the country. Like we did the Texas Frightmare back in May, and I'm Texan. I'm from Dallas, and so it was great to play it in front of a group of about 500, mostly strangers, and have them really receive it well. So, it's nice play. And then, of course, we played it in Park City at Slam Dance, and so we played it in a number of different places around the country to a number of different kinds of audiences. But we're just so excited that it's going to get a wider release now, and that people are going to be able to check it out all over. And it's great to see those different crowds receive it in different ways, but ultimately the same way, and that they enjoy it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so to that, the Bloodsucking Bastards open Slam Dance. How'd you guys get it to, was it a selection? Did you guys have to grease some palms to get it up there? But it opened the film, and you ended up getting picked up there by Shout Factory. Did you have any other production companies come out and try to buy the film, or was it just Shout Factory?
Well, to the Slam Dance, we were on the cusp with Sundance, and Slam Dance had come, I guess, after and had said, hey, listen, we'd love you to open the festival. We love the movie. And we wound up having the opening night party, and anytime you can do something like that, I mean, it was such a great time. We definitely jumped all over it. And that's, the producers at Fortress Features and Maybe This Year Productions, Justin Ware and Colleen Hard, all got together and made some great choices on that. And as far as people purchasing it, people, from what we understand, were having that conversation. We have some great folks who deal with that portion of it. So they were coming back with periodic updates, and where they came back was Shout Factory should be the winner. And we're like, well, great, you're good at your job. How about we do the thing you said?
Yes. Yes. Well, Shout Factory's been great this whole way through, and they really get the movie. And I think it's going to be, but it is a great home for it. And we just visiting those offices there is just so so much fun for movie nerds like ourselves being able to walk around there and see all the really cool re-releases that they're doing and DVD releases of, like old John Carpenter movies and, other stuff like WKRP in Cincinnati. And
they do like some original stuff with like specials for Mystery Science Theater 3000, plus they like re-release the entire library of that. We're huge fans of that stuff.
Yeah, so it's really cool to be in that company, for sure. Be in that company, at that company.
And the theatrical release was very important.
No, absolutely.
Very important, and they were gung-ho about that, too. I mean, like, having something spread for such a small movie to get such a wide release was very exciting for us. Yeah.
Well, I think you guys were able to get this going at a great time, because one of the big aspects of trying to distribute a movie now is getting it on demand. So, yeah, you may not have the money and the budget to be able to get it into select theaters, but a guy like me can come home after work, go on demand, and watch the movie instead of trying to figure out or travel 2 states to get to it. So I think being able to get it on demand is going to get the movie more publicity, where if you guys tried this maybe 10 years ago, it may not have had such luck.
It's just an awesome venue in that, where we're doing a lot kind of in the cities that we're from, where the movie's coming out, but not all the cities where we're from has a theater going. But we can still go back and say, hey, there's a way for you guys to see this movie. My parents will be able to see the movie, my sister, all my friends from home, and that's awesome. It's just amazing.
Yeah, and, it's to your point, though, it's funny you say that, because this week I just watched 2, I don't want to say comparable indies, but movies that are currently in limited release, but also on demand, Cop Car and It Follows. And it was one of those things where, like, I didn't have to, go search it out in like the middle of the Inland Empire, Orange County. I was able to just search it out in the comfort of my couch in my living room. So it's amazing that we've come to that point where I can read about something that is getting a theatrical release, but also enjoy it on my couch.
Mm-hmm.
Did you both take your sunglasses off?
Sorry.
I just noticed we talked about the sunglasses thing.
I'm sorry.
We were all in sunglasses.
It's harder to see, though.
These
It's
aren't
really
even
harder
my
to see,
sunglasses.
and
My
I feel
eyes-
really self-conscious about it. But
You look great.
Oh,
Those are great
these are
sunglasses.
new shades.
You look fun.
This is the version run for them, though. You look fun.
You look fun.
I look great.
That is no.
If I were to take these
does
off,
that.
it looks like somebody was chipping golf balls out of my eyes. So I have to keep them on so that my eyes don't disappear on the week camera.
I don't need to get a fire pit when I have Neil over here and his eyeballs.
You just
I can just
drop coals.
drop coals right in
My
there.
eyes. Oh, so many turkey burgers cooked on my
Yeah,
eyes.
absolutely.
Sorry.
I'm going on. I'm going off. I'm going all over the place.
Hey, it's okay. So, with that, when Shout Factory picked up the movie, we know that you had already shot the movie, they had seen it, but the one thing that you could change would be the title. In this PC world, the word bastards comes into play, and I could understand where some suits might try to go in and try to edit that name out of it to be a little bit more marketing friendly. Did you get any of that feedback from anybody from Shout Factory, or did they seem pretty open to be like, hey, this is what it is, this is what we bought, we're putting it out there?
Well, look, Inglourious Bastards has done phenomenally. If you have a big enough movie, if the movie does well, people receive it. I don't think anyone will ultimately care. This isn't a movie for children. Mm-hmm. This isn't going to be on Nick Jr. It's not going to be on Nick Jr., right?
Hey, you never know.
Dark.
Okay, fair. So yeah, I don't know. I think it loosens up a little bit. We haven't had any of those conversations personally, but yeah, I think it loosens up a little bit as time progresses. And if the people see the movie and they like it, ultimately no one will care.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So.
The original title though
was also as a comedy group called Dr. God.
Yeah.
Clearly, we're just towing the line of.
Yeah, totally.
The original title was Cocksucking Crazy Fuck.
Cocksucking Crazy Fuckers, Asshole Dildo Jizz Party 3, right?
This isn't going to be on Nick Jr.
This is not on Nick. Is this on Nick Jr.?
Well, we don't know yet, but we'll see. Somebody may pick it up. You never know. One of those teachers could be watching this interview right before a class comes in and forgets to switch over to it, and all of a sudden.
Sorry, we just doing some target practice back here.
No worries, no worries. So the script, there was an original script that was written by Ryan Mitz, and then somehow, like a gift from God, pun intended, the script fell into your laps. What was different between the script that we see in the film now versus the one that was handed over to you guys?
Ryan wrote a fantastic script.
Yeah, Ryan's a really good writer, a really good guy. Yeah.
One of the main things that we did was kind of paring it down. Like, we took it and made it one location. We eliminated some superfluous characters. We punched up the funny a little bit. But his story, his main story, like the main plot line, was just so good to begin with that our job was not so hard. It was not very hard.
Sure. So how long did it take to shoot the film, guys?
18 days? We shot in 18
days, yeah.
Wow, that's a marathon shoot.
Yeah. Yeah.
So especially there's a bunch of scenes with a lot of blood and gore in it that kind of echoes the beginning part of the movie. How difficult was it to try to reset and clean up everything to try to make it a little bit more continuous if you have to reshoot anything, or were you guys just tearing down sets and building them up?
We're going to give you an exclusive real quick. Brian, you want to come over here for a second?
I feel like he was really bloodying everything up towards the end so that we didn't even have to clean it.
So this is a member of Dr. God and also the director of the movie, Brian O'Connell.
Hey, Brian.
A question about shooting, and it's about shooting in order.
No, I heard it.
Yeah,
Blood.
okay. Yeah, you're good. Okay.
Yeah, so we shot in 18 days, and so we knew that we had to sort of shoot, not totally consecutively, but we did sort of have to shoot sort of linearly. That as more things got destroyed, the later scenes is what we did. So the nice thing about that is that continuity was not really an issue, not really a problem, but also B, the contract that we had with the place that we shot, we didn't have to clean up anything. So I kept telling those guys, hey, go hog wild. And Mark Villalobos, our special effects guy, who's amazing, his crew was great. I kept telling him, like, you can't give us too much blood, just more. I think we went through 2 55-gallon drums of it in the entire.
Wow, that's a ton of blood. What was the blood made of? Do you know?
Blood.
Trade secret.
Blood. That's
Blood.
Human blood.
Yeah.
All 18 or older.
Most of it was
good.
mine.
Yeah.
Virgin or non?
Ooh, that's a good. You know what?
It's all organic though. It's
That's the most
organic,
important
free
part.
range, and we really don't go into the sort of sexual history of the blood so
Right.
much as we care about the carbon footprints of the blood.
Mhm.
And it was all. And when I say organic, I mean organic, grass-fed, free-range blood.
The location was all one. That was all shot within one location. A room that was built and cut into a couple of different rooms. So as far as shooting in order, it didn't become too much of a massive challenge because company move is 12 feet, not 10 miles away.
Over to a set across the road.
So yeah, it was all in one. It was all in one location, which really helped out being able to shoot in order. I think the first shot was, or at least in the script, the first shot of the script.
Yeah.
Right? And I think the first day or two went through in order just because it happened to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good, cool. Yeah, I mean, after watching the movie, you can almost tell that the office itself was almost like its own character. The whole place seems very sterile and very contained and almost claustrophobic in my eyes.
I actually don't think you can hear it. Can you hear that?
Can you hear that?
No, we're good.
Okay, great.
Cool. So it would seem, as you guys as actors, the idea of being in an office is extremely terrifying in your own regards. What parts of the office that you guys had in the set kind of freaked you out? Like, what made it kind of scary?
What made the office kind of scary?
Yeah.
Well, there were people working upstairs who were they were replicating kind of what the office and job was downstairs, and fine folks, no question. But it definitely was interesting walking from a set where you are doing the fake job to 25 feet away where the real job is happening. It definitely is a little bit of a culture shock. It was interesting.
It was very bizarre. It was really weird, yeah, because you would walk out of a scene and then you'd walk into like approximation of the scene you just shot.
Right.
You know, with people on the phone trying to make, you know, cold calls or closed calls.
All vampires.
They're all vampires.
Killing people.
Little known secret is that the San Fernando Valley is actually full of vampires.
Tons of vampires.
Yeah.
So I can tell you guys are obviously method actors. So did you sit with those cold callers and really, you know, understand the job and, you know, how they work with the people, or did you just kind of wing it and say, I got it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they thought I was actually a janitor. So,
Yeah.
you know, I went through there with my mop. They asked me for some more paper towels. Got them.
And our holding area, like once again, the reason why we were walking through where it was that they worked is sort of our holding areas, you know, our different sort of dressing rooms and stuff, were offices there. So they would put us in, like, you know, offices that weren't occupied, and so we would sort of like go through that. So in a sense, we did, you know, sort of learn through osmosis because of the proximity to the actual stuff going on. So, you know, you do walk through, and like we were saying earlier, you're suddenly in a scene that's very, very similar to the one that you just shot or about to shoot.
Yeah.
So you would hear that stuff, you know, in that setting.
I got very close with them. I keep in touch with all of them still. Me and one of the young ladies adopted a child together. And yeah, I'd say that they're probably the most important people in my life.
I notice how he says a child too, because they haven't named it yet, which is really weird. It's a year later,
but
and they're just
Name it after a product. It's Shake Weight.
you want to get the name right.
Yeah, it's like some people keep breastfeeding their children when they're like 13. Neil's gonna like not name his until, you know, until the child comes of age.
Speaking of breastfeeding children till they're 13,
Yeah.
Game of Thrones, Pedro Pascal in the movie, and God, he was so enjoyable to watch.
There is a character in Game of Thrones
That's a
who
leap,
breastfeeds
but that leap works.
a child.
That leap works. That
Pedro
leap works.
Pascal does not breastfeed anyone.
No.
Nor does he in real life.
I took the trip.
Nor does the
I took a
character
journey.
of the Red Viper. But that was a long, long road.
But it was a straight drive.
It was a
It was a
destination.
long road, but it was a straight drive. You didn't have to make any turns.
It was winding.
There were
road
no
was
turns.
winding.
There were no turns.
It
That
was
was
a
Yeah, but there was a
road.
falling rock
1,
sign.
2,
There was a falling
3.
rock
I would
sign.
admit that's meandering.
It was the
It's-
tear
there's a meander, no question.
Come
Sorry.
on, bro.
Yeah,
Anyway.
so speaking of Pedro Pascal, I mean, geez, he's, you know, found some recent success on Game of Thrones and also found, you know, a quick shallow grave. And you also got Joel Murray of the famous Murray family, and who's also in AMC Mad Men and Bobcat Goldthwait's God Bless America, which I absolutely love. How the hell do you get, you know, these big name guys when you guys are, you know, first shooting your first film?
Some of it has come from our work in improv and stage, and you know, we've all written and produced things before and acted, and we've just been very active in the comedy community since we were teenagers.
Joel for sure was that.
That was 100%.
Joel, like my path into the comedy world in Los Angeles was thanks to a wonderful man, my big brother James Grace, who allowed me to work at IO West, and I became the tech director, so I'm running lights on just hundreds of improv shows, and one of those was Joel Murray and Friends, so I got to know Joel through that, and I can't tell you how good it made me feel to be able to send him an email to be like, hey, will you take a read of this script? We want you, and know that it wasn't like I wasn't somebody with like a weird webisode thing that wasn't like I actually had a real thing to bring to him. It made me feel so good, and then when he said yes, I did a jig. I maybe, I was
Show us
happy.
what did that jig look like?
No, I can't do that jig again. I can't do it.
Did anybody ask?
I want Sean to have a series called Weird Webisodes.
Weird
Welcome to
Weird Webisodes with Cowick. All right, this week on Weird Webisodes.
Look at how funny he looks.
I like he had a very Max head tilt to it. Did any of you guys ask Pedro Pascal to be your champion?
The scene hadn't come out yet.
Yeah,
Oh.
man.
We didn't
It
know.
wasn't out.
Yeah,
We
we
had
didn't
no
know
idea.
that was going to happen.
We shot ours knowing that he was on the show, but not knowing, that was going to all happen.
That he
Not
was
having
the
read the books.
Viper.
I'm sure that
Yeah, I had not read the
people
book.
on site who read the books would probably.
A lot of credit to Brian O'Connell, he's right behind us. He's literally right there,
He's lurking.
lurking, and
Pointing
Justin,
a gun at us.
yeah, and Justin Ware and the casting group, because they brought people to the table that They knew we're incredibly talented and you know, potentially had some things coming up. And Brian went and sat with them, and I believe if the story goes, they sat, they talked sports, he did the movie. I think that's how it went. And that was with Fran Kranz as well, right?
Yeah.
You guys talked basketball the entire time, and then
he did the movie.
we're in. Let's do it.
There you go.
That's the goal. For anyone trying to make movies or television, you go to a meeting, you talk for the project for like 6-7 minutes, and then you talk about sports or carpentry.
For me, it's highlight.
Well, that's a sport. That's
but like specifically highlight.
Yeah,
so
sure.
you have to know about the Sesto and the history, the written tradition of the Basque sport that transformed itself and moved to the New World. It's very popular now in Puerto Rico, Miami.
Sure.
Caribbean.
Oh yeah, it is.
The way to my heart is
Good to know. I'm writing that down. Got to get you over a highlight.
Highlight next week on Weird Webisodes.
That's one weird one. Highlight.
What's he got in store for next?
So you guys rewrote the script, but how much of the script was actually written and how much was improv? You guys are, successful group with Dr. God. Did you find time to be able to improv some of those lines that made it to the final cut, or was it all pre-scripted?
Heavily improvised. Obviously, the script very important, and it was great. But Brian, I don't even want to say this because he's right here, and it makes me I fucking hate him. Oh, and he did something very gross just now. But he's an improviser, and when the storybooks are written about this generation of improv, he'll be one of the more notable ones out there in the world. And as a result, he gets what he needs to get, but he also acknowledges, what our art form is and what comes from it. So he's great about making sure that he gets the takes to find the additional funny outside of what's in the script, and we're very lucky to have him in our lives for the next 2 years until he dies.
I was going to say, the end of that turned into like a eulogy in the present tense. Or, yeah, most of it
That's
was.
how I always speak about Brian.
Yeah.
A eulogy in the present tense.
So do you guys notice a difference in the comedic timing between improv and acting, taking a script and seeing the words written down versus actually going and playing it off the top of your head with improv? Is there a huge difference with the comedic timing, or does it all kind of roll up into one and it's all kind of the same?
That's a great question. I think that's probably an individual journey for everyone.
Well, I think that, unless you want to go.
No, go ahead.
I feel like when you're writing, right, you're just improvising into the moment that you put pen to paper or your fingers to the keyboard. In the same way that, like, you're writing on your feet when you're improvising on stage. The timing, the matter of that, are just like instincts and knowing when to hit certain things, right? So I don't think it's that dissimilar, personally. I mean, yeah, you have to understand the intention of the character, the scene, and all that, but like you have to do that all simultaneously when you're improvising. So I don't think that the nature of timing changes, but it is a thing where it's like when you're doing it on set, going back to your last question, you know that you have to say it a certain way to get what you wrote, but then you have the option of doing like a choose-your-own-adventure kind of thing when you have the improv take, right? And you can sort of do an alt version of it that next time around. But the timing is essentially the same. You're just plugging in something different or warping it a little bit. So for me, it doesn't really change that much. I don't know about you guys.
How about you, Sean?
For me, what improv brings to general acting is like a confidence, where I know it's like I stopped worrying about lines, and it almost made retention easier. Where like all of a sudden I can memorize lines more quickly because I'm not worried about it, and then the confidence to then just try things. So if it changes timing at all, it's more just me trying something new and not worrying about that too much, and not worrying about being married specifically to a script, but knowing that I know what's going on, but the awareness to try different things, to try different lines, to try alts, to try different timing. It's a confidence builder for me, for sure.
I agree. I think that sometimes it also you want the essence of what the line is, or you want the essence of what the moment is, but sometimes there are just more natural ways to kind of get to it, or ways that you can build on the funny. So it's yes, you want the goal is to be able to strip it down to a point where it's just completely you, and then if you can build on that, that's great. But I think there's kind of two approaches towards it, and it depends on what you're doing. One is you're really just writing the line because in advance you have a good idea, and then you go, oh, I'm going to use that idea, and it works or it doesn't work, but you're kind of rewriting at a certain point. And others are just living in the moment, and that's where I think a lot of the real fun happens, is when the person across from you does not expect what's happening, and you didn't expect it either. And then that's what reads as so true. So three similar but different approaches towards the same thing.
Very cool. Yeah, so one other question about the movie, though. The opening sequence of Bloodsucking Bastards is very Fincher-esque. It's got a very Seven feel to it. What other horror movies, horror comedy movies, or horror movies in general really influenced Bloodsucking Bastards? And especially the vampire faces towards the end had a very good Robert Rodriguez From Dusk Till Dawn feel to it. What were the influences that drove you guys in the creating of it?
Well, it's hard to say what drove the movie itself because there are so many different creative voices involved that I think it's probably a combination. But I can say, personally, just one of my favorite horror comedies, and I can only speak on just something I love, is Gremlins 2.
New Batch?
The New Batch.
The New Batch.
Love that. So for me, those are fun worlds to live in. I don't think they're the same movie. I think that they're very different things. But if we were to go down the line and talk about our favorite horror comedies, I would say that would be one that I want to be playing on my television all the time. Yeah.
Sure. No, absolutely. And I think the connection between Gremlins 2 and Bloodsucking Bastards is, I don't want to say Bloodsucking Bastards is a satire, but it also, it kind of makes fun of the mundane life of an office drone. And what Gremlins 2 did was how mundane and unpractical the TV life is. So I think that's a very good comparison, Neil.
It's also in one location when you think about it. Gremlins 2 is largely in the Clamp Tower.
The Clamp Cable Network. That is correct.
And Scotty, everything that you just said, I appreciate you finding a way to to marry the two, but I was wrong.
He didn't know that was going to happen.
I didn't know that was going to happen. You did a great job of covering me on that.
But
made
him right.
I had a shitty answer, I think.
I think other influences, certainly favorites of like horror comedies. Shaun of the Dead, I think that
without question.
That's just fantastic. And yeah, I mean, like I find certain horror movies to be comedic and interesting and hilarious, and there's a lot of similarities between the way that people react to horror movies and to comedies, right? It's very visceral reaction. The Halloween movies I love, but specifically Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, the one that doesn't have Michael Myers in it at all, which is also available on Blu-ray, released by Shout Factory.
Ooh, you're welcome, Brian.
But yeah, that to me is just like bananas, because it has robots, Stonehenge, Halloween masks that turn kids' brains into bugs and snakes. All that stuff is terrifying, but it's also hilarious when you just say it like that. So yeah, that would be one of my influences. Just it's not necessarily apparent in the movie, our movie, but it's a favorite horror of mine, horror film.
Just what's specific to the opening of the movie, the thing I love about it is just really that, like, we've got that awesome Five Knives song, The Rising, and the imagery. It's kind of like, and I agree with you, the kind of like the opening of Seven, like the imagery and the way it's kind of like jarring, but then also kind of pumps you up at the same time. I every time I watch the movie and the opening happens, I get psyched to see the movie. Now that has a little to do with the fact that I know it's our movie and I'm psyched to then, But also, I think for the general public, like, it will amp you up a little bit. You will sit there and think, okay, something's about to happen. This is exciting. I'm getting ready to watch.
Yeah, and that's what's so great about it too, though, is like it's kind of a fun little, I don't want to say bait and switch, but it's a fun tempo change, because it's like, it's that awesome driving intro, and then all of a sudden it's like ding, and it sort of, the floor drops out from under you, and you have that first shot. Yeah. So it's just like, wait a minute, I'm ready for like an action scene, and then the expectations are shifted, but you know that it's going to get back up to that level later in the movie.
See, for any improv geek out there, this will hit home to you. It's almost like when you do a Herald and you come out on stage and everybody's amped and the music plays and you're like, yeah! And then you're like, let's get a suggestion, and somebody gives you one, you go into an organic opening, which is frenzied and crazy, and people are doing different things, and it's moving around the stage, and they're doing moving, and I was like, ah! And then that edits to the first scene of the show.
Cool. Yeah. So
You're welcome, improv nerds.
there you go. So to that point, you guys chose improv. You could have done either comedy or stand-up comedy, or you could have done just acting in general. What drove you guys to improv as an art form?
Well, I was going to go actually down the route of cobbler, like my grandfather, Sebastian Minecraft, and I decided against it.
Yeah.
So it was either stand-up, improv, or cobblery.
Adam Sandler made that movie about your grandfather recently,
He
The
did.
Cobbler.
Yeah, it was a huge bust, but that's because he didn't
Care?
get the rights. He didn't care
I
either.
didn't care, yeah.
But yeah, for me it was a matter of seeing improv at a fairly early age. I went to Chicago with a theater company that I was interning with in the late '90s. Hello, B. And I saw it, and it was magical. It was like watching a magic show for me. I'd seen a lot of stand-up before then, but I didn't understand how it was that they were doing this, and I wanted to kind of uncover that and get to know it better. And so from there on out, I auditioned once I got to college for the short-form improv group at Colgate University, where the Broken Lizard guys went, and they founded this improv group called Chart Goosebeak. So I started doing short form, then I graduated and traveled around from city to city, trying to figure out where I wanted to study improv and then also live and try to make a living doing something adjacent to that. So for me, it was a matter of like being really impressed and wowed with something I didn't understand, and then wanting to understand it. Because I'm not knocking stand-up at all. I think it's just as impressive. But I had seen that all my life growing up, and then suddenly when I was 17 or 18, I saw something I'd never seen before, and I didn't get it, and I wanted to. That was my journey.
Yeah, for me, I started doing stand-up as a teenager. I would go into New York while I was going to Pace University and occasionally do some stand-up there. And I loved it. And then I left college at a certain point, and I started doing stand-up in New York regularly while going to school. And I grew up loving UCB, the television show. The Upright Citizens Brigade show was one of my favorites. So I saw they had a theater, and I went there. And as soon as I started taking classes there, when I think I was 20, 21, the first day of that class, I went in and I was like, wait, what is this? How I can do this? And this is... And then I pretty much kind of weaned away from stand-up, and that was like 12 years ago, 13 years ago, and I've been just consistently all in since then. So yeah, UCB in New York was really my my introduction to what modern improv is, which isn't Whose Line Is It Anyway. When you grow up watching that, you go, oh, that's what improv is, and then you go and you see what long-form improv is, and you watch a show, and you take a class, and it just changes your perspective on everything.
I was Emerson College in the theater department, auditioned for and got onto one of Emerson's comedy troupes, This Is Pathetic, which was the all-improv comedy troupe. And that made me kind of put like theatrical acting on hold to the point where people were like, why the hell aren't you auditioning for these things? And I'm like, I'm doing make-em-ups now, guys. I don't have time.
Make 'em up.
I don't have to remember anything. I could just go there
Fantastic
and be...
But yeah, This Is Pathetic. We read The Truth in Comedy and just tried to start doing heralds, and oh man, was it hard. But we would sanction field trips for us, since we were under the umbrella of a school organized like activity group, and we would get them to fund us to go to New York to take workshops at UCB, and it was awesome. And I fell in love with it, moved out to LA in '03, got right at iOS, and haven't left since.
Very cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it was being able to like study under the people that that you saw. Like
Totally.
The first that show that first show that I saw that was long form was Bob Dassey. It was a two-person show, Bob Dassey and somebody whose name eludes me right now. But and then I ended up studying under Bob here in Los Angeles, and now I consider him a friend. The same thing with like watching the UCB guys. Like I saw their TV show as well. And then when they started their theater out here, I studied under Ian Roberts and Matt Walsh.
As did I.
It's
yeah.
a weird thing because you're able to sort of like actively learn from the people you look up to. And
Totally.
I don't know that you get that with like necessarily sports. Like I grew up watching the Dallas Cowboys, but I was never able to study under Herschel Walker or anything like that.
Really?
Sadly, no.
You did not. We
No.
both did.
What?
Yeah,
we.
me and the Hirsch go way back.
That's
Yeah.
so weird.
Me and H Walk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in
H-Walk.
Herschel Walker, H Walk, drafted to the USFL, Donald Trump's league. #1 draft in the NFL.
Donald Trump also he sank that into the ground. That was a business venture that did not succeed.
But he didn't personally go bankrupt from it.
No.
I blame D's nuts.
Yeah, me too.
That's happening in the world right now.
Yeah.
And it's getting like 10% of the vote.
Well, you can tell that we care about America given the flag that's right here.
Exactly.
Got D's nuts
Mm-hmm.
for president.
Exactly. Dr. God and patriotism go together like peanut butter and jelly.
Yep.
Exactly. So also in Bloodsucking Bastards, Matthew Lillard makes a very brief cameo. But I've also noticed he's been doing a lot of work with Dr. God. How has his experience as an actor and an improv helped you guys elevate your game?
I would say that, and I don't think I'm overstating this. So we did a lot of long-form improv together for a long time, and we've worked independent of one another. And he did a couple of shows with us. I think after the first one, came backstage. We had a really great show, and he was hosting, telling stories, and we'd improvise off of his stories. And he looked at all of us, and he's like, "Okay, great, that was amazing. What are you doing? Like, what is this? Does this die here on the stage, or is this something that you do more with and you pursue outside of the stage?" And he really kicked us in the ass in a great way, I think, or at least
He inspired us.
inspired us. I mean, it was a thing of like, yeah, we're doing
He
that
wasn't
independently.
violent. There was no actual.
He didn't
ass kicking.
actually, but he's
a
so
tall man.
man.
He's
It
a
would
tall
have hurt.
man.
You would have
calm down.
I would have
Yeah.
want to fight him.
When you hug him,
would
you barely
never.
come up to his navel.
Oh yeah.
Barely.
And he's just
Yeah.
so strong.
So he was a huge influence in turning us and having us refocus our energies towards film and television. We owe him a lot, and also sometimes you can't meet your heroes. You can't meet the people that you grew up really enjoying just because you do, and they're not great. And he is just one of the greatest guys I've
He's
ever met
amazing.
in my entire life.
He is amazing.
He's just he's fun to be with, and also very inspiring.
And he's a great, he's somebody who's dedicated to the craft of acting and directing as well in a really, really awesome way. He was just at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival directing play Fault Lines that got really great reviews over there. And he is taught acting nationwide, and so he cares about it, and he approaches things in a serious way, but he's also really a fun-loving, awesome dude.
Yeah.
Cool. So,
Period.
a real serious question here, guys. If Dr. God was a boy band, who'd be the bad boy? Who'd be the heartthrob, and who would be the shy guy?
We're all
The
bad
shy
boys.
one and who's the lover?
None of us are good
The unfortunate
boys,
reality
right?
is we're all kind of bad boys.
Yeah.
Who was the bad? Wait, just to clarify, because my boy band, history.
Let's
is,
do NKOTB.
Okay. Well,
I think
Bad boy.
Donnie was the bad boy, right?
Donnie was the bad boy.
Donnie was the bad boy.
Right. No, Donnie was the bad boy.
Who was the
Donnie
bad boy
the
in sync then? Chris Kirkpatrick.
I don't know if they had a bad boy.
He just had
No.
bad hair.
We gotta just use NKOTB.
Okay.
But I don't
Do
know.
we have a Donnie?
I don't know.
guess
I don't
it would
know
be
if-
Brian. Brian would be the
Brian.
Donnie.
No, but Brian's not a bad boy. He's dark.
He's
He's dark.
he's a take on.
But I don't know
on
if
the
he's a bad boy.
Mm.
We're all,
You
you know what?
Neil's obviously the
We have a
lover.
bad boy, but we have cutie boys.
Oh, you
Ah.
have cutie boys.
We're all cutie boys.
Yeah, we're all cute. It just depends what you like. It depends what you're into. That's the thing that's actually really great about us. If the five of us are in a room, whatever you like, short of, I guess, like, black guy, short of that, because we're just, but outside of that, if you like different things, we can provide all of them.
Or woman. Woman.
Or
None of us are woman.
yeah, or
I don't know.
Asian,
I think that some of
Asian,
it, we could at certain points be
Or
very
like
in
a-
touch with our feminine side.
like
Okay.
a giant, like somebody like on down to the giant with gigantism.
No giant. No.
Yeah.
We don't have that.
Yeah.
There's
We have a lot to offer,
Yeah.
but there's certain things that we just can't.
Well, it's just because we're not equipped.
None of
to.
us are any sort of supernatural creature yet. Yet.
Yet.
Yet.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, guys, for fans of the movie, where can they?
It
What was
broke,
that?
it broke up a little bit.
Oh, sorry. So, do that again.
No.
So, for fans of the movie and for fans of comedy and improv in general, where can they see Dr.
Scotty, buddy, we're having a little trouble with you right now.
Just
Hello?
right.
It froze up, and we couldn't hear the end of the
Let me see
question.
if I can.
Well,
Hello? Can you see me?
That's better.
well, that's yeah. You're in the little box.
All right, cool. So we'll try that again. So guys, for fans of the movie, comedy, or improv in general, where can they catch Dr. God perform live?
Where can they see us?
We can see us live. When can they see us live?
Is that what you're asking?
When can they see Dr. God live?
Ah!
Exactly.
Yeah.
There we go. We deciphered it.
Besides right now.
Besides right now, the first and third Saturday of every month at 10 o'clock at IO West, that's 6366 Hollywood Boulevard. And then just kind of check out our website, www.drgodcomedy.com. I assume that'll be right here. And it'll probably happen, something like that. Or won't. I don't know how lazy you are. But they can go there because we do comedy festivals around the country. So occasionally we'll be around. I know that a faction of us will be in Chicago for the opening weekend. We will be in Denver for the opening weekend.
I'll
We'll
be
be in
in
Austin
and Dallas.
for the opening weekend. So we'll be doing shows there. So you can check out the website.
You can also check out this show, our show, Apocalypse, on Axis TV on August 27th.
That's right.
On Thursday night. Check local listings for times. But it's going into our next cycle, and we're super excited about that. And we got a lot of great episodes with everybody you see here and many more wonderful faces of comedy.
Correct. You can check it out at access.tv.com if you guys would get it together and put the link.
You guys, so we gotta be able to put it together.
Chiron right here.
But guys, we are all about out of time. Neil, Sean, and Dave, it was an absolute pleasure and hysterical time. Thank you so much
Thank
for sitting there and talking with us today.
High five. Get in. Get all the way in. Get all the way in.